You want to see something mind-blowing? And this is mind-blowing to me. Just watch this 10-second clip. This is the SEC chairman, Paul Atkins. Listen to him.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that crypto's time has come.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me. Let me give you some perspective. I don't know how long you've been in crypto. This was the last bear market, and there was so much that was going on. I have these notes. I'm locking this on the screen because there was so much going on. All of these crypto companies collapsing. But one of the biggest things was SEC, Gary Gensler, trying to destroy crypto as we're going into the season of quantitative tightening. It's just the worst. It was a massive storm, a multi-year storm. And if you kind of survived through it and you've been holding and accumulating, I say good for you. But right now, from a technical perspective, from a business cycle perspective, from a crypto cycle perspective, we've reset everything. And now we are at the starting line, but this time we have the SEC chairman not only kind of like rooting for the crypto space, but supporting the crypto space. We have pro-crypto legislation so in play and so many other things going on right now. So I want to discuss kind of all of these things. We have a very big interest rate decision that is getting ready to come out in the next 7 days or so. And we also have some new data that's coming out today in relation to inflation. So hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in if you're not in our intelligence system. Here's our Dogecoin risk model. We're going to talk a little bit about Dogecoin, DOGE ETF tomorrow. Believe it or not, the altcoin ETF season has begun. So get into our intelligence system. We have a trial going on right now. You can check out our risk models. You can start strategizing, see what you think, and you have 7 days to kind of test us out. So let's jump into the video. Let me just start here. This is very brief. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but this is important for the next 1 to 2 weeks. If you've been watching my analysis, and we're going to get to this on the altcoin charts and Ethereum charts, I have been talking about the potential for a dip. It is still very in play. Some people get mad at me. Some people start saying that I'm doom and gloom and I'm bearish, when in my mind, this is the scenario that's potentially in play. This is not bearish to me at all. But I want to kind of talk about this as we are talking about this inflation data, interest rate decision next week. So wholesale inflation fell in August, smashing economists' expectations yet again, and proving that President Trump's tariffs are having little effect on prices. So many people are just like, inflation's going to go crazy, you know, and the opposite is actually happening. 2.6% on year over year headline. We were expecting 3.3%. Next week, rate cuts. Likely rate cuts going to happen. Don't know exactly how much. There's speculation on it, right? 0.25, 0.5. But I saw this. JP Morgan, rate cuts could sink stocks. Andrew Tyler warns the fully priced September 17 Fed cut may spark a sell the news pullback as investors reassess macro conditions. This has been my thought. And I want to kind of discuss this, and then we're going to look at altcoin ETF scenario, and I want to look at altcoin markets in general as it relates to what this is actually saying. So the one thing, and we've been looking at this on the Ethereum chart, using as a visualization exercise for a dip in the coming weeks. And the reason I've been doing that is because if you look at the altcoin chart, September 1st rate cut, right? Or first rate cut since 2020 in September, last year, 2024. We were sideways and choppy. There was not an immediate pump. And we get a better illustration of this on the daily chart on total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Here's that rate cut, 0.5 rate cut a year ago in September. We pumped, boom, fell back down. Crazy, right? It's like we're probably getting long liquidations right in this move. I just think there's possibility for a similar scenario. Maybe we pump and then we're coming back down. Maybe it's just volatile for weeks. And this is why I'm using Ethereum as kind of this indicator for what price action might look like for altcoins. But please keep in mind, when you zoom out on a total crypto market cap chart, this is excluding Bitcoin, this is altcoins, we are at the beginning of a very powerful macro move, in my opinion. What I'm saying, though, is be careful, because this might happen. We might get a pullback. The one thing that's actually starting to make me feel like maybe we won't, and nobody knows, okay? I'm speculating here. I have no idea. I'm trying to prepare for these scenarios. I'm trying to prepare for volatile price action. It is all we can do. Andrew Tyler over here at JP Morgan doesn't know. I don't know. Your favorite analyst on X doesn't know what's going to happen. But one thing that makes me start thinking maybe we won't get a pullback is JP Morgan actually pushing out this headline. So often we see this, especially from a firm like JP Morgan. It's like they push this narrative and headline and the opposite happens. So interesting how that happens. So let's anticipate and be ready for volatility. But either way, I want you to look at the macro. This is what I'm doing. I saw this post from Discover Crypto. This is Besant calling for makeup cuts. Listen to this really fast.
Then it seems like there's probably some makeup cuts in order here, or the size of this month's cut needs to be recalibrated.
It's crazy. Makeup cuts. So think past even this cut that he's talking about needs to be recalibrated. But think about Jerome Powell. He's out in May, and we're going to have someone else in his position, probably more in line with Besant and his monetary policy thoughts and opinions. So we are just at the starting line here in terms of rate cuts and in terms of easing. So when we start thinking about this chart, the altcoin chart, we're at all-time high area, and we've already monitored, in our intelligence system, our risk scores are just incredibly pre-bull numbers. We are at the starting line. We are not overextended like the end of last bull market. We're at the beginning of this bull market. So that's that, everybody. And remember, this is why we have a SEC chair, Paul Atkins, who is bullish on crypto. We have the Clarity Act in play for Q4, and we're going to continue monitoring that. So moving on to, and then I want to look at Ethereum analysis kind of more on the daily chart, but altcoin ETF season. A DOGE ETF, which will go under the ticker DOJE, is expecting to launch Thursday. It would be the first US ETF tied to an asset described as having no utility. Analysts are now questioning whether more meme coin ETFs could follow. What do you think? Not only do I think more meme coin ETFs are going to follow, but I think we are at the very beginning of an altcoin ETF season. I think we're at the very beginning of just institutional adoption of crypto. And this ties right back to kind of what SEC Chair is saying, crypto's time has come. But taking this a step further, I do want to just tie into this video and this thought in terms of DOGE ETF that we're talking about here. And I just want to mention to you, we're talking about a DOGE ETF. One of my top value plays is DOG on Bitcoin. It's the free and fair coin on Bitcoin. It's the biggest coin on Bitcoin. There's a push right now for a DOG ETF. This is C2 blockchain. They are basically, they have their own DOG treasury, and they are a top holder of DOG. But they are starting this push for a DOG ETF. For many people, I would say 98% of people, it sounds crazy. But for me as a value investor, I hold a ton of DOG. It's my second top altcoin hold, because fundamentally, I think this is probably the top value play. If this plays out in the longer term, how I think it might, then this might be my top play in all of my years of crypto. And ADA has been a great play for me, extending back to pre-bull market time of last cycle, even into this cycle. ADA is a great play, but this might be my best move. It could be, and it's a high risk thing, but I want to bring it to your attention because this is still 100% in play for me, and I'm very bullish on DOG. But back to Doge, as we have Doge ETF, getting ready to go live, I noticed, because I was searching through our risk models, and I was kind of looking at what are the least risky scores in our system right now, and Doge was on that list. It's at a 27. It's at a moderate buy territory. This is such a big indicator for altcoin season. This is such a big indicator even for the altcoin ETF narrative, since Doge is going to be the first. It is sitting at a 27. You might be bullish on Doge. You might not be. I'm way more bullish on DOG than I am on Doge. But I will say this data point right here is something to pay attention to. And the reason why is if you just look at the cycles of Doge, this is what's so good about Doge. We have so much data on our Doge risk model. This is literally going back to 2013, everybody. We have multiple bull cycles for Doge. Look at last cycle. It hit a 97 in terms of, a 98 in terms of risk score. We're at a 27 right now. We've been looking at something like Ethereum in terms of like pre-bull market risk score. Look at this. Historically, at this level of 27, the price was higher 57% of the time after 3 months, 74% of the time after 1 year. Doge and this risk model right now is painting a very bullish picture for crypto after everything we just talked about. And I just want to say, nobody knows if, for instance, or when the breakout will happen, but the intelligent system will start firing off indicators and alerts to users who are setting alerts. We start getting that move. Doge, for instance, or another asset is pumping from 27 to the 70s. It will scream, start taking profits. And this is what this system is for. It is so that you and myself are not round tripping bull markets. And the Doge risk model right now, though, insanely compressed as we're about to step into tomorrow with a Doge ETF going live. That's some bullishness right there, in my very humble opinion. So if we go over here and we look at Ethereum charts, I kind of want to end here in terms of altcoin price action. And that is this. We saw the weekly. It kind of illustrated for you what a pullback will look like. But on the daily, I think this is worth noting. I haven't really covered it in days. It's this area, the 20-day and the 50. Isn't it crazy? We pulled right back into the range. This is what we did back here at the swing high, and we bounced out of that range. We've pulled right into the range, and it has been insane sideways consolidation since. We're still below the 20-day, around 44, just over $4,400, and we're above the 50-day. So we're in between the 20 and the 50, which, by the way, the 50 is around 41, 4,200. Which way is Ethereum going to break? A first good sign for the bulls, if there's not going to be some, very short-term pullback, would be to start closing daily candles above the 20-day moving average. As we go into the next 7 days, and I'm talking, if we look at this chart, here it is. This is September 17th, I'm sorry. The rate cut decision. Be careful. All we can do is speculate. We could pump going into it and fall after it. We could fall and pump going into it. I have no idea how this is going to play out. This is why I've kind of been very zoomed out on the Ethereum chart. I want price discovery, a breakout. Let's enjoy it if it happens. We'll track it if it happens. But this throwback to the triangle itself is so in play right now as we go into this next week with all the speculation and volatility. And we zoom out and we see on an altcoin chart how we operated in terms of price action last year after the rate cut. We can pump, come back down, sideways. It could be weeks before we get any meaningful price discovery. But again, nobody knows. I'm just trying to be prepared for every scenario. And I'll tell you what, if you look at an altcoin chart, I'm prepared for this scenario, and I'm prepared for this scenario, and I'm just hanging out. I'm just tracking it with you. I'm not making any predictions, but just kind of giving you my opinion based on the data. So incredibly bullish on the macro, on all of crypto, everybody. There is so much happening. And it's increasingly difficult to do the videos and just like put it all into one video. But hopefully you are getting some value from my videos. I appreciate you cruising through. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe as we prepare for this new era for crypto, because crypto's time really has come, everybody. And we really are just at the starting line. So I would love your support on this YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the video, if you got any value out of the content, please consider giving it a like. And again, if you're not in our intelligence system, check out the assets that we have back here. If we have assets that you hold, then you can get back here, whether it's XRP, whatever, open up the risk model, start planning your exit strategy. And we'll have our accumulation tool as well. Eventually, we'll start building that, for when it's time to accumulate. So we start getting a very nice sense of when to buy. But this is how I'm playing these cycles, everybody. And I would love to have you join us in the intelligence system and join all of our members that are kind of using the system right now. So I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day and God bless.